Hi, my name is Kathy Saranpa, and I'm the translator of A Silenced Voice, which was written by Ingrid and Joachim Wall about their daughter Kim. Kim Wall was a Swedish journalist who, at the age of 30, was brutally murdered while on assignment in Copenhagen. The extreme emotions that the couple felt are so well detailed at the beginning of the book, not in any sentimental manner, but as journalists would do, which makes it somehow even more heartbreaking. I'm going to be reading 3 short excerpts from the beginning that talk about how they found out that their daughter had died. The quiet of our bedroom is pierced by a ringing phone. The red numbers projected on the ceiling show 5:31 a.m. It's Friday morning, August 11th, 2017. I answer the phone while Jokke, lying next to me in bed, remains asleep. The voice on the other end of the line belongs to Ole, Kim's partner. He sounds shaken, his voice is forced, and he asks if it's okay if we speak English. Ole is afraid we won't understand each other. Although it's less than 30 miles between Trelleborg, Sweden, and Copenhagen, Denmark, it's not always possible for a Swede and a Dane to understand each other. But what he has to say can't be misunderstood. Kim has disappeared from a submarine near Copenhagen. If there hadn't been such obvious worry in his voice, I would have thought he was kidding. Disappeared? From a submarine? Near Copenhagen? This is how the nightmare began. The nightmare we would never awaken from. Our daughter, sister, and sweetheart left to do an interview for a story, a completely ordinary workday for a freelance journalist. But Kim never came home from work. Instead of writing headlines, she became one. I wake Jokke. We ask Ole if we can call him back. Soon we're completely awake, and ever so slowly, a completely improbable picture takes shape. Our daughter left yesterday evening to do a story about a man well known in Denmark who builds submarines and wants to launch himself into space. Kim was supposed to do the interview on board the UC-3 Nautilus, which the man had designed and cobbled together himself. The underwater craft was a well-known silhouette in Copenhagen. Ole says he's stayed up all night waiting for her. He's biked all over Refshale Island in the northern part of Copenhagen looking for her, calling her cell phone over and over, searching everywhere. He woke up the submarine man's wife to ask what she knows. He's called the police and the Danish Coast Guard. He's pleaded and begged them to understand that this is serious. Ole has done everything in his power to find Kim. She was just going to finish this one assignment before meeting up with him and some good friends after work. We try to get a picture of what might have happened. We decide there's been an accident. Something's happened with the submarine that's made it impossible for it to resurface. The 59-foot-long UC-3 Nautilus, built from the base of a wind turbine, is lying somewhere on the bottom of Öresund. How do you find a submarine? I'm going to skip ahead now. The Walls then decide to go to Copenhagen and see what's going on there, if they can find out more information. And they go to the harbor where, if the submarine is rescued, it will show up. Suddenly the phone rings. The submarine has been spotted. Everyone on board is fine. We weep for joy, and I feel immense relief. We hug each other when we hear that this news has been confirmed by official sources. These few hours of drama are now over, and I look at the clock to see if there's enough time to get to Berlin at a decent hour. There is, but first I want to hold Kim really tight. Someone yells, "We have radio contact with the sub." Ole and Jokke go along with the submarine guys to another building. I use the time to send reassuring text messages to those on the other side of Öresund waiting for the news. Our son Tom works as a photographer for the daily Helsingborgs Dagblad, where news about the submarine incident has been buzzing since he arrived for his shift. His immediate supervisor knows that Kim is the missing journalist, but nobody else on the staff does. We talk on the phone and agree that he should stay at work and that he doesn't need to come to Copenhagen. Everything's fine now. Kim's been saved. She's okay. End of story. Or maybe not. This is a story Kim will enjoy embroidering on with family and friends for a long time to come. But this is not the end of the story. It's not even the beginning. So when Jocke and Ole come back, their eyes filled with worry. The submarine sank, and apparently only one person has been saved. It can't be true. We just heard that they found the submarine and that everyone on board was fine. Where's Kim? She's the one who was saved, right? Terror grips me again. Soon we get word that it was the submarine man who was saved by a pleasure boat in the ocean, not Kim. He'll be brought to land at the harbor near Kastrup Airport or at Dragør Harbor. We jump into the car and drive, probably entirely too fast, toward Kastrup. The harbor is deserted, so we continue to Dragør. As we drive, we listen to the radio, which is full of news about the submarine incident. There isn't room for anything else now, and there hasn't been all morning. And now finally to the last bit. When the man comes to shore, he's hustled into a police car, and the Walls wonder why they can't talk to him and ask what happened to Kim, and they said, please go to the police station, and it's just standard procedure. So they go to the police station and they're interviewed, and they're still wondering what this man has to say. So at the police station now. What does the submarine man say? Where did he drop Kim off? We don't get any answers. But the policewoman interviewing me tells me Madsen is in custody. I'm very surprised. Why? The answer I get is that this is standard procedure and something necessary in order to do a forensic examination of the man and guarantee his rights. My doubts start to grow. Too many hours have passed since Kim disappeared. She'd never stay away voluntarily. She wouldn't run away with someone else. She had no thoughts of suicide. On the contrary, her eyes were shining with happiness when we saw her the day before she disappeared. Ole is the love of her life, and she was looking forward to beginning that life together with him in earnest. If Kim's been injured, someone would have found her by now. We're in the middle of a densely populated area in one of Scandinavia's capital cities. Tom makes the trip to Copenhagen from his work in Helsingborg. He's led into the police station without being discovered by the reporters. We're sitting together in the police break room to wait for the transcript of our interviews. They have to be corrected several times. Swedish and Danish aren't always compatible. The break room at Halmtorvet looks like many others. A large refrigerator, a sink, a coffee maker. On the wall there's a bulletin board where the menu from a nearby pizzeria is posted, next to what looks to me like shift schedules and information from the union. There are a few empty coffee cups on the rectangular table, salt and pepper shakers, a couple of newspapers, and the remote for the large TV that dominates one wall. While we're sitting here waiting for the final version of the interview transcripts, drinking yet another cup of vending machine coffee, Tom turns on the TV. The submarine drama is the first story. All of a sudden, breaking news rolls past at the bottom of the screen. Peter Madsen has been arrested for murdering the Swedish journalist. Time stands still. This can't be true. Kim is somewhere out there. We're just waiting for her to get in touch. The police officers who enter the room see the same thing we've just seen. This is not how you're supposed to receive news of a loved one's death.